How to make $50,000 a month in commissions as a high-ticket closer. How do you do it? What does it take? What are the qualities of a closer who earns $50,000 a month in commissions? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. One of my clients, Jacob, a member of the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, is earning now more than $50,000 a month in commissions. And I'm going to show you exactly how he's been able to do that. So if you would like to earn that amount of money in sales, you know exactly what it's going to take. Let's crack in. So the first thing you can see on this post here is the post of him earning $50,000 a month in commissions. At the time of recording, this post live was 3 days ago. How it feels to make $50,820 in commissions. And we're going to go through how he feels, and more importantly, how he got to the place where he can have those feels of making that type of money. But before we go into that, I want to show you a couple of other things. First of all, this was 2 days ago. So this one was 3 days ago, and this one was 2 days ago. He's now at $55,420 in total commissions this month, and he had deals closed today. So he may be, at the time of filming, close to $60,000 a month in total commissions. Now, the first thing that we're going to go through is, where was he? Because when you hear someone making $50,000 a month in commissions, probably you have some of these thoughts of doubt. Is it possible? Was he just naturally gifted? All of these doubts, these rationalizations, these mind viruses that will prevent you ever even getting on the path where you could make that type of money. And so I'm going to show you where Jacob was and when he started, and you will be able to see that this is possible for you if you do the things that I'm going to show you Jacob did in this video. So his intro post, August 2024, exactly a year ago. So 12 months ago. Hello, fellow unicorns. My name is Jacob. I've been a high-ticket closer for 2 months, and I sell a dating coaching offer. So first thing is, he wasn't hanging around for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, trying to figure it out on his own, or trying to join lower level trainings and take things slowly, dip his toe in the water first. 2 months into high-ticket closing, he was like, bang, I'm joining the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. I want to be the best. And he aligned those words with his actions. Second thing, how much money was he making? He says, last month, I took home $7,800. So he was earning $7,000, $7,000 to $8,000. He said he wants to be taking home $30,000. That is all we need from the introduction post. The rest of it is him just introducing himself personally. So think about that. 12 months ago, he was making $7,800. Now, he's earning probably $60,000. It will be somewhere between 55 and 60 by the end of today, the day of this filming, 31st of August. 12 months. So my first thing for you is, how long have you been in high-ticket sales, and what is your current income? Because you've either been in high-ticket sales less time than Jacob, which is less than 12 months, and you're making less money than him, or you wouldn't be watching this video, or you've been in high-ticket sales more time than Jacob, more than a year, and you're making less money than him. So either of those, what have you done, with all due respect, wrong? Because Jacob was able to do it in 12 months, go from $7,800 to $50,000. The answer to that question, what you did wrong, is going to be revealed right now. I'm going to walk you through Jacob's posts since making $50,000 plus a month in commissions, and you will see the journey, completely raw, completely uncut. Not me telling you what to do, even though if you don't know, I went from $0 to earning over $100,000 a month in commissions within 17 months of being a high-ticket closer. Jacob's gone from $7,800 to $50,000 in 14, or that was in 12 months. If we do from day 0, it would be 14 months. He's gone from 0 to 50, now let's call it $60,000 by the end of today. No reason why he won't be able to beat my record and say, well, in another call it 3 to 4 months, he could go from 50 to 100,000. Because if I look back at when I went from 50 to 100,000, it wasn't halfway between 17 months. Going from 50 to 100,000, as you're about to see with Jacob, almost happens overnight. And I know that sounds crazy and you won't believe it, so let me just prove it to you. All right, so the first thing, let's go through Jacob's post of how it feels, because this is also going to give you an insight into who he is as a person now to be able to make this type of money. So how it feels, I did it. My first ever $50,000 month in commissions. Last month, exactly what I just said to you, my highest earning month in sales ever was $18,000. 30 days later, he went from $18,000 to $50,000. And you're going to be wondering why that is. That will be revealed as we go through the rest of this post. This month, I have 2.7x, and he put in brackets, as I said at the start of this video, so far in total commissions. Probably it's a 3x. The main things I changed, we're now getting into how you do it, what it takes, and the qualities of a 50K a month closer. Accepting that I deserve it. That it is not only possible, it is expected if I show up the right way and put in the work. First and foremost, if you are even considering settling for the amount of money that you're earning right now, you will never make more money. There has to be a part of you that's bigger than the part of you willing to settle that is telling you, I deserve more money. I need to make more money. I deserve more money, and I'm going to go after it and get more money. But that won't translate into hard cash if you don't then do what Jacob said and show up in the right way and put in the work. That is the values that we uphold inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. Showing up in the right way. This is internal mastery. Your state, your identity, your character. And then putting in the freaking work. Actually training. Hours and hours and hours a week. And if you aren't willing to do that, you'll just keep making the money that you're making now. Let's go into number 2. Obsessively tracking the basics. Again, not the basics of, oh, what objection did I get on what call, but the basics of who I am as a person. Qualities of a high-ticket closer earning 50K a month. Did I go to bed and wake up on time? Did I eat past 6 p.m.? Did I do my meditation, etc.? Now, if you don't know the things that you need to be doing on a daily basis consistently for peak performance, then you'll never make this type of money. Or if you did know all of the things, which you don't know what you don't know, I'll explain that in a minute, but you're not following them consistently, you will not be at peak performance. So you won't be able to make the maximum amount of money that you could possibly make. What do I mean by you don't know what you don't know? I can tell you what the things are that you need to do on a daily basis to make 50K a month in commissions or to make 100,000 because I've done it. If you haven't done it, you will only be guessing. You will be playing the game of trial and error, blood, sweat, tears, wasted time, wasted money, and just trying to figure it out. You are welcome to do that, but I didn't do that. I hired a mentor who had already made more than that and said, let me pay you to teach me what to do so I don't have to figure it all out on my own. There is no hope in hell I would have got from $0 to $100,000 a month in commissions in 17 months with trial and error. And there's no way, no disrespect to Jacob, he would have gone from $0 to $50,000 in 14 months if he hadn't been shown what to do. Because the secret is to cut your time period and your learning curve by learning from others. This is what Warren Buffett said, Charlie Munger said. There's a book by a guy called Keith Cunningham, The Road Less Stupid. Everybody successful knows you've got to learn from mistakes, but nobody says they have to be your own. And only stupid people try and learn everything on their own through trial and error. So, tracking the basics. Number 3, more time spent in default state and reading the book Outsmarting Reality. Inside the mastermind, we have a recommended reading list so that unicorn closers can actually become more as a person spiritually, in terms of their health, in terms of their mindset, in terms of their understanding of psychology and philosophy, which allows you to have more access to resources when you're on a call to be able to know what to discuss with your prospect. Because we don't give you word tracks or scripts because they are limited. You're only going to go so far with word tracks and scripts. And the money that you want to be making that you're not making right now is the difference between sticking to your script and learning to go beyond it. It's everything that you're never going to learn reading from a script. So that's why he mentions the books. And then what he's referring to in terms of default state is your general day-to-day state manifests your reality. Of course, you need to learn skills, you need to be training to learn the skills, etc. But how you believe your reality to manifest is going to have a massive influence on what reality does manifest for you. That is why inside the mastermind, through two mediums, we teach people to be in a better default state. First way we teach that is to actually become a better person, to do the internal mastery training that I taught Alex Hormozi's old gym launch sales team so that you actually evolve as a person. If your default state right now is, with all due respect, kind of a loser, you can't just fake being at a better default state. You have to actually become someone that's more organized, more disciplined, takes care and therefore has better care of your health, has more drive, has more confidence, more certainty. All of these things need to be developed and trained so that your natural default state becomes a different human being. Your reality, the amount of money you're making, is a reflection of who you are right now. If you want a new reality, you need to become a different person. So that's what he's referring to there. He then says, speaking with others, discussing these challenges, and learning how to get to the next level. Huge part of being in a mastermind is the community. Being alongside other unicorns who are committed to figuring this out with the guidance and the help and training of not one mentor, but two, because you get access to me and you get access to my underground mentor who taught me everything that allowed me to make $100,000 a month in commissions. But part of it is having a crew of people that are all working together to master this. Because we can give you what to do, but you need to implement it. You need to execute it. You need to become it. And part of doing that is being in a mastermind of other people that are on that journey and you're aligned with them. So he spends his time doing that. Final one here on this post, living life and enjoying the challenges. They aren't something to fight and claw at. They're stepping stones to get to the next level. I used to hate challenges. This is very important. We'll come back to this. And difficulties. And sometimes still find myself in that energy space. But then I remind myself, wait, what is feeling like this doing for me? I'm just going to figure it out. And then I get to work. Now, why did I say we're going to re-talk about something there? Because the old version of Jacob that was making $7,800 a month was the guy that avoids challenges. And frankly, the guy that didn't enjoy living life. He wasn't challenging himself, so he had no progress. And because he didn't have progress, he couldn't live his life at the level he truly wanted to. And because he hadn't become more as a person, he wasn't enjoying living life. And the version of him that would fight challenges and resist challenges and not take the next stepping stone and hate challenge and hate difficulty is the version of him that kept him making $7,800. The fact that he's explaining here, I've become a different person, should show you the light to what you need to do to make $50,000 a month in commissions. He then goes on at the end of this post to say, huge shout out to everyone that has helped me reach this milestone. Underground Mentor, myself, Skylar, Nicole, Don, other members of the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, members that are on the same sales team as him, members that are actually part of the sales management of an offer, other members that have been brand new to the mastermind and completely engaged with older members or more seasoned members like Jacob. It's all part of rising together. As they say, a rising tide raises all boats. And he says, and many others have all been vital to my development, not only in sales, as I said, but also as a person. You can see here him on Six Flags roller coaster having a whale of a time, because when you make that type of money, you can take a day off. Until you make that type of money, you shouldn't be taking days off. You shouldn't be taking weekends off. Your weekends off sales calls should be training to get better at sales, because you are not going to ever get to living the life you want until you make more money. And I know some people disagree, oh, money's not everything. No, it's not everything, but access to everything comes from having more money. If you want better health, you want better relationships, you have to have access to more resources so you can invest those resources to work on your health, to work on your relationships, to work on having fun. So make more money and don't rest until you get there. And as you see with Jacob, if you actually take action today, 12 months from now, you could go from $8,000 a month in commissions to $50,000 a month in commissions in 12 months. What happened for you over the last 12 months? You maybe went from 5 to 10, 5 to 15, 15 to 20, but you didn't make $50,000 and it's already been 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. We're nearly at the end of the year. You're not making this type of money. And the thing that's going to determine how quickly you do make that type of money is how long you delay the decision to actually get started on the things that I'm now going to break down in even more detail through Jacob's words that allowed Jacob to make now nearly $60,000 a month in commissions. Now, before I go through that, let me just show you some of the comments here underneath. Don, Jacob, your journey is inspiring so many of us in the mastermind. The example you've set in terms of putting yourself out there for cool reviews, investing in yourself, as well as implementing the feedback is truly amazing. My favorite part of your post, living life and enjoying the challenges. And those two go hand in hand. You can't live life if you don't enjoy and face challenges. They aren't something to fight and claw at. They're stepping stones. You really are a juggernaut. We've got all these comments of all these members inside the mastermind congratulating Jacob, because that's what being in a mastermind is all about. Working together, aligning yourself with like-minded people that all are committed to a mission. And the mission inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind is self-actualizing. Now, what does that mean? Self-actualizing means becoming the best version of yourself. Going beyond just having the money, but becoming everything you can possibly be. Because your biggest regret in life, at the end of your life, is going to be the guilt and the shame of all of the unrealized potential that you had. And time is ticking. Every day, every week, every month, every year that goes by, you are losing access to an unlock of potential. You'll never get that time back to unlock the maximum potential. What I mean by that is, let's say you delayed 5 years, and at the end of your life, you've reached this level of your potential. This could have been your actual realized potential, but you needed those extra 5 years that you lost 40 years ago. You're never going to reach your full potential and see what you were made of. And that's what life's all about. Like, how much of you is in there waiting to come out? How much of you do you not even know exists in there? Find out, live it, become it. So self-actualizing is what we uphold inside the mastermind. Now that breaks down into scriptless selling and internal mastery, which are all part of being inside a community of other unicorns that are aligned with, I want to self-actualize, and mastering high-ticket sales is the vehicle for me to be able to do that, to make more money whilst simultaneously becoming the best version of myself. And to be clear, you could make a little bit more money whilst doing very little, if nothing, in the realm of self-actualizing if you learn a different way to sell. Scripts, word tracks, fake body language, fake tonality. Maybe you'll make a bit of money, but the goal is having it all, having the money and having become the best version of yourself, actually truly understanding people, mastering psychology, mastering communication, mastering yourself. So I advise you to really strongly consider that the choice you make of how you're going to master selling is going to reach the highest level goals for you, which is meaning and fulfillment and purpose. And a part of that is having a lot of money. But you have to make sure you make the right decision. Otherwise, you take 2 steps forward to make a bit more money, and you take 2 steps back because the way you learn to sell, you're like, actually, I haven't really learned anything about humans or communication. I just know how to memorize words. It's like, what was the time in your life where you thought it was the most pointless time in your life? Probably school. Because you're like, when am I going to use trigonometry or algebra? And the truth is, you probably never have and probably never will. And the reason it felt so meaningless, not because you weren't learning something, because you were learning something, but because you were learning something in a way that didn't align with your highest self. In other words, you're like, I'm not going to be an algebra professor, so this isn't my best self. So that's why you have to choose a way to sell that you're actually aligned with. This is going to reach my full goals, which is the holistic spectrum of money, happiness, health, wealth, fulfillment, meaning, values, your identity, your character, helping others, serving the world, all of those different things. So let's now go deeper down the rabbit hole of Jacob's full post of what it really took. So I'm going to delete that one because we've seen that. He earned more than $55,000 2 days ago. And now we're into the journey. So yesterday, you see here a day ago, my mentor posted a video. And that video was called the 4-month PSYOP, which cut a very long story short in the video. And it's definitely something you need to see. He was basically saying how one of the biggest issues for most high-ticket closers is when they first get into some type of investment, whether it's their first ever sales training or then a later on sales training, there's this mind virus, which they believe is it's a means to an end. In other words, if the program's 3 months and I just do my 3 months, then it's like, okay, I did the 3 months. The goal isn't the program. The program is a means to an end. And if you don't get to the end, you have to do another program or stay in a longer term program, which is why this is a mastermind, not some 6-week crash course in how to memorize word tracks. It's actually, you're in this mastermind until you reach your full potential, which is $50,000, $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 a month, and becoming the best version of yourself. Until you feel like, oh shit, I've actually become my best version of myself, we have access to keep training you and keep pushing you and keep taking you to the next level. And so in that video, the moral of the story is so many salespeople just never make it anywhere close to their goals or their full potential because of this mindset that sales training or mentorship or a mastermind is something that you just do to extract a few nuggets over the time period and then that's it. And so when he posted that, Jacob was like, I see other salespeople make this mistake, and let me share how by me avoiding that mistake and actually joining a vehicle, in this case a mastermind, that allowed me to become my best self and not having that 4-month or 6-week PSYOP, which is where you're like, and you just like bail, you quit on yourself. He has been able to make $50,000 a month and beyond in commissions. So he then shared his full story, which is unbelievable to go through this story. So I'm going to share it with you so you know what it really takes, what you need to do step by step, and what the qualities are of a $50,000 a month closer. So therefore, if you want to follow in his footsteps and maybe beyond, you know exactly what you need to do. I absolve you from ignorance of, I don't really know what it takes. So Jacob starts with saying, the LA event was a catalyst for me in more ways than one. So 2 or 3 times a year, we have a live in-person event, which is available to a select number of our members, of our clients, who have proven certain things. They've gone through certain trainings. They've been engaged. Those requirements are inside the mastermind. So just to be clear, it's not a guarantee that you'll come to our next event. It's available for members that have earned it. It's not just given to members. And so our event a year ago was in LA last Christmas. And Jacob said it was a catalyst for him in more ways than one. I know with 100% certainty that if the second live event wasn't in LA, I wouldn't have gone. And if I didn't go, I wouldn't have stayed in the mastermind. That's partly why we have these live events, to make sure that you get what you need, even if it requires us to meet you in person, because there are certain things you can't communicate through a digital Zoom call. And so having these in-person things, as Jacob said, allows certain members to have a catalyst that they would have never got if it was just digital training. Another big difference between a mastermind and a course. In-person is required for certain parts of your transformation. Okay, December 2024 wasn't the best time period for me. I was struggling with numerous things, the primary 3 being my overall consistency, health, wellness, interactions with people. The offer I was on had a number of issues, and I really didn't like it. And I had a lot of doubt in my own skill set and self-worth. I was also at the end of my 4-month tenure here and considering leaving. So what he means by that is when you first join the mastermind, it is an absolute bare minimum 4-month requirement. If you don't want to commit to 4 months, don't even waste your time, because you are not going to transform as a person and revolutionize your lifestyle and your income in less than 4 months. That is to be clear. He then says, I write that to point out numerous things, but the primary one being go to the event. It doesn't matter what you need to do to get there. It is worth it. Make it the primary objective. The things you learn, the people you meet, the energy you feel, it is the difference. So Jacob's saying that just being there at the event around my underground mentor and myself, the other members, we rent out the most insane mansions that just completely blow the lid off your perspective of what's possible in life. Houses that you're like, this guy's got a whole wellness suite in his house. Your entire reality will be shattered. And that's also part of making more money. You need your reality shattered. Going and joining a digital course, it might give you some okay training, but it's not going to change your reality. And changing your beliefs and your perspective and your mindset, your goals through living those goals, as in going to these mansions and being like, oh my goodness, I can't even believe this exists. That is essential to you making more money. It's not just the literal logistical training. All right. He then goes on to say, at the event, I recall the underground mentor, key feedback that he gave to me was think less, act more. And that has stuck with me ever since. So before we go any further, the first thing that Jacob recalls that propelled him to $50,000 a month is to think less and to act more. So question for you, are you thinking more or are you acting more? Because if this is a guy that's making the amount of money that you want to be making, and he's now handing you on a silver platter what you need to shift, the question is, are you going to do it? Are you going to stop thinking and delaying and debating and going around over and over in your head of, oh, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Just act and act now. Now, pause. If you know that you need to be inside this mastermind, you can click the link below this video right now and enroll and get yourself enrolled and then come back and finish the rest of this YouTube video. Literally delaying it to the end of this video could be a hesitation that spirals out of control and turns into another day, another week, another month, another 3 months that you aren't inside the mastermind if you know that this is the place that you need to be to get to the next level. So if you know, click the link right now, enroll, and then come back to the video. All right. So Jacob then says, the event itself had a ton of noticeable things. Seeing Jeremy, another tenured member of the mastermind, do a live role play in front of everyone. Trust me, it's way harder doing it in person than on a Zoom call. So being inside of a room where role plays were happening live, actually feeling and seeing, and it was me doing the role play using, in fact, that's incorrect. It was Jeremy and another member of the mastermind doing a role play with me jumping into the role play, coaching through how you would do it. And as I said, you feel things way deeper when you're physically there than just on training. So to go to the next level, like Jacob getting to 50K, part of it will probably be meeting us in person, if you so choose. And Jacob says, go to the event. All right, then we have having Pete Clements have the conversation and come to the realization that he shouldn't be selling at 7th level any longer. Now, to be clear, nothing against 7th level, just wasn't aligned with Pete's goals at that time anymore. And we had a conversation. I ran a discovery on Pete in front of everyone inside the mastermind, and Jacob being able to witness a person go from confused and lost and indecisive to decisive and confirmed on the next step, which has now transferred into Pete getting a $16,000 Rolex, a brand new Ford Mustang, which was his dream car, going into sales management, making more money. That all came off the back of this conversation. And Jacob was there witnessing it in real time. He says a ton of catalyst events. Let's keep going. He says, when I returned from the event, I left the offer I was on. Immediate action. Not, I got home from the event, I sat there thinking about it for a day, a week, a month. No, I left the event and I left the offer. Immediately, one after the other. And wandered around for a month trying to find my way. So very interesting. Sometimes making the decision, you can do that instantly. The solution to it might take you a bit of time to figure out. But what a lot of people do is they don't make a decision until they think they've figured everything out. But that's not how life works. You won't have everything figured out. You have to pave the road in front of you as you're walking it to actually be successful. So very clear, the contradiction between those things. I left what I knew was the wrong situation immediately, and then having made a decisive decision, it took me a bit of time, a month, to find my way to the next step. But this is the mindset and the behavior of a closer that earns $50,000 a month. They act now. They do not wait until they've got everything planned out in front of them. That is a mind virus and a debilitating habit that I see of closers that aren't living the life they want to live. They try and plan everything out. Give you an example. We have so many closers inside the mastermind that joined the mastermind and they either weren't on an offer, they weren't already in high ticket sales, or they didn't have the money to cover multiple months ahead of the mastermind. And they joined anyway. And they figured it out. They put in the work, they committed, and they backed themselves and they made it work. Whereas there are other people that I know, maybe you, that is sat there going, well, I need to kind of plan this first and plan that and kind of make sure I'm on the right offer or, make sure I've got this set up. It's like, no, that's not how successful people act. Successful people know, I need to do this. I need to do it now. There's some things that aren't figured out later. I'll figure those out as I go. The next single step is the only thing you need to take. This is the next step I need to take. Take the next step. The next step comes after that. Don't be one of those people that doesn't take the first step because you're like, well, I don't know what the fifth step is going to be. Okay? All right. Jacob says, when I returned from the event, I left the offer I was on and wandered around for a month trying to find my way. Scott Brunning, another member of the mastermind, thank you for having me on the team. I think about that experience quite a lot. Even though that didn't work out for most of us, I learned a ton being around you, and I really enjoyed it. If any of you get the chance to work with Scott on an offer, he's a magician and an amazing man and teacher. Notice as well the energy. Loads of gratitude. Very, very key to making a lot of money. Don't be sat there in victim, oh, it's my lead, it's my offer, it's this. He doesn't say, hey, Scott, your offer didn't work out, you piece of shit. No, he says, hey, the offer didn't work out for either of us, but I learned a ton, I had a great time, and Scott's an awesome person. Big difference. Victim mentality versus someone that's a leader. Leadership energy makes leadership type of money. All right, let's keep going. Very quickly after that, I saw Maurice on the Wednesday training with Josh, the first live he'd spoken up at and did a call review, and started role-playing with him. So saw another member, thought, boom, going to get onto role plays. That's what all the members inside the mastermind do. They've joined a group together and they all role play with each other to implement and practice scriptless selling and internal mastery. He says, reached out to Skylar, even though they weren't hiring setters, and said I would be fully outbound and sift through that list and turn dust into gold. Skylar initially told me they weren't hiring right then, but he would let me know when they were. And then 40 minutes later, he messaged me saying, when can you get on a call with me and our COO? 3 days later, I was on the team. Made $10,000 the first month there as a setter, more than I'd ever made in closer commissions. Lots in there. So first of all, he doesn't say, well, Skylar's team's not hiring, so I'll wait. He's like, I'm going to bend reality. I am committed that I'll make something happen here, and I'm just going to go for it. Another key trait of unicorns. People in life, as they say, I'd rather ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. Slightly different to this context, but you understand the gist. The gist is, oh, well, they're not hiring setters right now, so I'll just wait until reality transpires in my favor. It's not going to happen. You have to make reality transpire in your favor. If you want to be on this offer and they're not hiring, you go and find a way to get on that offer. That's it. Second thing, humility. I've been a closer. It's not worked out. I've only made $6,800. Don't really want to be a setter, but it could get me onto the right offer, around the right people. Willing to do whatever it takes. That is a key mindset of unicorns who make $50,000 a month in commissions. And then look what happens. Reality bends in his favor. You go after something, reality responds in kind. As they say, to the man who has nothing, everything shall be taken away. To the man who has everything, everything shall be given. If you want more in life, be more. If you keep shrinking and contracting and restricting yourself, life will continue to crush you. That's just the way reality works. It's just a mirror. It's just a reflection. So be more to get more. Jacob said, I'm going to just do whatever it takes. And that was completely different to the version of Jacob that joined this mastermind. He had a big mouth, thought he knew everything, didn't really like getting feedback, was very conflicted whenever he got, not criticized, but told that's actually wrong, because he was so stuck in his old identity. Probably like you. Stuck in your old identity of, oh, I'll figure it out on my own, independence, don't like investing, fearful type of person. Those identities aren't yours. They're just choices of how you're choosing to behave right now. And if you are willing to let go of those, you will be able to make this type of money as well. It is can't say the word guarantee, but it is inevitable that if you do the right steps, you'll get the right results. You're not where you want to be in life financially because you haven't been doing the right things. And a big part of that for closers is they're not willing to do whatever it takes. Okay? So, 1.5 months in, promoted to closer. I'll pause right there. So many closers are on shit offers and they've got shit skills, so they can't be a closer on a better offer because they're not investing in themselves. And they're not willing to take one step backwards because they're like, well, what if I end up being a setter for 3 months or 6 months or 12 months? The offer owner said if I'm a setter, I have to do that for 6 months. Yes, no disrespect to the offer owner or the sales manager, but they said what they said in the moment, meaning based on where you're at right now, you'll be doing this for 6 months. If you become a different person and you change and they're like, holy shitballs, this person is now a beast, they're investing in themselves, training, becoming more, evolving, they'll promote you as quick as they possibly can. The point is, just like I said, you need to take the step before you have everything else lined up ready for you. And then you make the other things become aligned for you. So, goes on. Really struggled with certain things. No shit. But persevered. Really struggled, but persevered. And I knew I would figure it out. Compared the hell out of myself to Nicole and Skylar, wondering why they were succeeding and I wasn't. Ripped the setters apart, trying to be Josh and on them, and blamed them for my lack of success. Look at the honesty of Jacob. The self-reflection of even as he started making some progress, he had another brick wall, another brick wall, another brick wall, another part of his identity. And this is what I said before. He had a big ego and was trying to tell the setters how to do their job. Now he's a closer, trying to make it seem like the setters were the reason he wasn't making more money and closing more deals. And he had to evolve through that. Stopped being the victim, blaming everybody else. And he becomes a new version of himself and makes a shit ton more money. Continuing on. Blamed them for my lack of success. All the things to shine the light at other people instead of on myself. Quick question. Are you shining the light on yourself? Are you asking yourself honestly, are you honestly making the money that you deserve to be making? Of course you are. You're not putting in the work. You're not showing up. You're not aligning yourself with the right mentor. You're not getting around people that are going to push you to go to the next level. You're not becoming more as a person, training your internal mastery, actually developing a better version of yourself. You're making exactly the money that you're supposed to be making. And if that's not the money you want to be making, first step, just like Jacob, face the mirror. Finally start telling yourself the truth and be honest with yourself. That's the only foundation that will ever allow you to be more successful, is looking in the mirror and saying, it's my fault, all of it, 100% ownership and responsibility, and now I'm going to do something about it right now. With Josh Lyons' help, that's me, he shined the light right back on me and said, the numbers don't lie, Jacob. Just like I'm saying to you, but if you're inside the mastermind, you get direct mentorship from me, personalized, so that I can help you just like I helped Jacob. Look at the fact here. Jacob wouldn't have got past this hurdle if he didn't have mentorship. Not a course or training, but real mentorship. Someone to hold the mirror up to him and say, this is you. Your numbers aren't lying. And then obviously the conversation was much longer than that. We went back and forth for a few days. We were discussing it. I was working with him, mentoring him, and you'll see what happens. With Josh Lyons' help, he shined the light right back on me and said, the numbers don't lie, Jacob. You might be right about the context. This is in regards to the setters doing things wrong. But if that's true, why isn't your commissions reflecting it? Jacob then says, very honestly, I made more excuses. And Josh very respectfully, but directly told me I was being a fucking idiot. I lay down the line for him, which is what a real mentor is going to do. They're not going to buy into your bullshit, like I don't buy into your bullshit, that you're not already on the inside of the mastermind. You know you need to be, so click the link and join. I'm not going to buy your bullshit. I know this will take you to the next level, make you a shit ton more money, and become a way better version of yourself and serve the world, because you will actually become a master closer, someone who understands people, someone who actually provides massive service and value to the world. So I'm not going to buy into your bullshit, just like I didn't buy into Jacob's excuses. I directly mentored him, told him how it was, showed him the light, showed him the mirror, and he decided he was going to actually listen. And the results speak for themselves. So he goes on to say, I accepted that. First thing, acceptance. Like I said, be honest with yourself. Don't deny, don't reject, accept. Accept your income is exactly where it's supposed to be right now, based on how you're showing up and not putting in, how you're not showing up, not putting in the work, not working with a mentor, and not inside a high-level community. He says, I accepted that and started to focus more on myself. Key thing here, which we teach all the time in the mastermind, is it's not so much external. It's 20% external, 80% internal. He goes on to say, got my teeth kicked in, not literally, one too many times on a logistical battle that I had triggered or not handled properly in some way with a prospect. And after the Underground Mentor's call review, where he said, if he was the business owner, he would say, how dare you talk to my fucking prospect like that? And that was the final straw. Notice again, key thing to making a lot of money and being successful. It's not sunshine and rainbows. It's being told the hard, cold truth. And it's brutal. If I look back at how I made $100,000 a month in commissions, I got the shit ripped out of me consistently for 17 months by my underground mentor, because I wasn't the version that was going to make the money I wanted to make. So he had to show me, this is incorrect. You're not aligned in this way. You're doing this wrong. Your state's off. You're lying. You're making excuses. You're rationalizing. And you have to be called out. But a mentor can call you out. But some people just can't handle it. And they choose to not handle it, to be clear. It's not that they were born that way. If you aren't going to be willing to have the mirror held up to you, don't bother joining the mastermind, because it's a two-way relationship, mentorship, mentor and mentee. The mentor is going to hold you to your highest standard that you told them you want to be held to. When they hold it to you and you say, I don't like it. Oh, it hurts. Why did you get a mentor then? And I get it. It hurts. When a mentor holds a mirror up and shows you how below your potential you're being, it stings. It really fucking stings. But what's going to sting more for you? Staying where you're at and never making the money you want, or living the life you want, or realizing your full potential? Or is it going to sting more temporarily for 12 months? Oh no, 12 months. 12 months, like Jacob went through it, and then you're making $50,000, $60,000 a month in commission. It's 12 months. For me, it was 17 months. I was like, I want to get to $100,000. Not even a year and a half. It's no fucking time in the big scheme of things, the grand scheme of things, the big picture. It's such a short amount of time to have someone actually put you through the mud. It's like Navy SEALs training, they like sit you in the sand, in the water, and, you're there like getting all the waves over you, making you do press-ups in the dirt, in the rain, in the cold, in the middle of the night. That's what makes you a winner. It's not the only thing, but it's a huge part of what makes you a winner, is having someone that's going to hold a standard for you and you meeting that standard and not being a big crybaby that it's hard. So being blunt and being brutal with you, this is what it takes. It's not sunshine and rainbows. Part of it is you deciding to accept the things. Part of it is the mentor ripping you to pieces. And you'll see how bad it gets for Jacob. But this is what it took for him. And I'm not saying this will be the case for all of you, but it goes on to say, how dare you talk to my fucking prospects like that? That's what the underground mentor said. And that was the final straw. And Jacob says, sitting there crying, I decided. I recall thinking, okay, I either quit, and all of this was for nothing, or I figure it out. And he goes on to say, and I'm curious how similar this is to your life, I've quit too many things before. This will not be another one. How many things have you quit? How many things did you want to be good at, master, be exceptional at? And you quit, just like me. I quit loads of things until finally one day I said, enough's enough. I need to get rich. I want to be successful. I want the watch. I want the car. I want the house. I want everything. Just spent another $10,000 dropping 2 business class flights for my parents to come and see me. I can do those things because I went through the dark period. This period of it's going to be hard. There's a lot of things that Jacob's done, like the events over the 12 months, that there's loads of smiles and laughter. So just to be clear, it's not horrible, but there are certain pivotal moments in your journey working with a mentor to ascend to the highest level that are going to suck. They're going to really hurt. And like Jacob said, they're sitting there crying. He had to make the decision. So if you're sat there looking at your credit card in your bank crying, $3,000, like, if you cry about that, and I'm playing with you a little bit, if you cry about that and you can't get over it, you'll never get to this level. You have to sacrifice what you have to get what you don't have. It's like the saying, the difference between a billionaire and a millionaire is a billionaire risked $1 million to get to $1 billion. In other words, they took their millions when they were millionaires and said, if I gamble this all away on an investment, it's either going to turn to nothing, I'm going to become a billionaire. If you know the story of Elon Musk, if you've read that big fat biography, it's literally that constantly. Every time he made money, he took all of it and risked it all to make more money. And that's how he became a billionaire. And that's how successful people become successful. They have to throw away and sacrifice the old version of them. The version of us that is crying, the version of me that was crying, that was upset when I was getting the shit ripped out of me by my undergrad mentor for not showing up in the right way, not asking the right questions, not managing my state, not organizing myself, not cleaning my bathroom. Maybe you've seen that story. Like, that's just what it takes if you actually want to make it. So let's keep going. Jacob says, most important thing, I decided. I've quit too many things before. This will not be another one. And that was the big turning point for Jacob. So Jacob then goes on to say, he immediately messaged the underground mentor and did a $10,000 consultation. Now, to be clear, we don't sell one-on-one. It's not available. Do not think you'll be getting that. It's not a part of the mastermind. Jacob insisted and persisted to my mentor, the underground mentor, he wants and he needs a one-on-one. So the underground mentor accepted and Jacob wired him $10,000. They had a one-on-one. I think it was an hour long. And the underground mentor, no disrespect to Jacob or the underground mentor, basically just told Jacob all the things that he already knew. Nothing new. But it was just that final straw that broke the camel's back, as they say, that Jacob then finally accepted everything and locked in. And so he goes on and he says, took a few weeks and some more DMs from Josh, still ironing things out. Again, the importance of having access to mentorship. But then things had a quick turnaround. I made $18,800 the month of July, which is the most I'd ever made in sales up to that point. The following month, this month now, August 2025, I currently sit at $55,420. So that is the journey that Jacob has been on. Let me scroll down because this is quite long. And he goes on to say his conclusion. The point is to share the journey. Like I said, how do you make $50,000 a month in commissions? What does it take? What are the qualities of a high-ticket closer earning $50,000 a month in commissions? Jacob says it took a fuck ton of trial and error. Trial and error meaning when we gave him things to do, he stopped and started with actually implementing them. To be clear, because I said it earlier in this call, not trial and error of what do I do? He had everything laid out of what to do. But part of the long road and actually ascending is This is the false starts. I'll try it, and then you do it for a week, and then you fall back off it. Oh, I'll try it again. You do it for a month. And only when it finally locks in, which is why this is not a, hey, join for 4 months and see what happens. It takes as long as it takes. For you, it might take 6 months. For someone else, it might take 18. If you join this mastermind, it's not about our mastermind. It's about you are committed to realizing your full potential. You don't say, I'm committed to realizing my full potential so long as I get it done by October 2026. It's like, no, that's not how it works. It's you're committed to your full potential, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, whatever time period it takes, you will not quit. Okay? So Jacob says, journeys into the external, the internal, and all throughout the one constant was the mentorship and energy from this mastermind. Notice that he doesn't say the sales training. It's the mentorship. Direct access to someone who's been where you want to go already. They've already accomplished what you want to accomplish. They know how to get there. They know what it takes. They know the qualities, and they live and embody those qualities. And you learn a lot just from being around those people, embodying it, and what's called osmosis. And he says the energy from this mastermind. You have no idea what the energy is like inside this mastermind until you're on the inside. Being around a private group of individuals that are truly committed to excellence is like nothing you will have ever experienced before. And when you get around those people, you have one of two choices. You either rise with everyone, which is inevitable unless you take choice number 2, which is you quit. There's no other alternative. You're either going to get to this level that Jacob gets to, or you're going to quit. If you're actually around these unicorns and you have the training, the mentorship, the support, and the community, you will be making $50,000 a month in commissions so long as you don't quit, okay? Jacob goes on to say, sounds a bit salesy me saying this, but it's Jacob's copy. Jacob's writing. Do not leave here thinking you'll find better elsewhere. I have looked. Do not rationalize and make excuses of, oh, Josh only did 100K a month because he was on a crypto offer during a bull run. Heard that one enough times. We talked about this in the mastermind literally the other day. Luck is a massive part of why people become successful. But then the question is, so why are you not lucky? Because luck is something that you can manipulate by actually doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. If you show up in the right way, opportunities come your way. If you show up in the right way and are prepared, opportunities that come your way can actually be taken. Everyone ever who's ever been successful accredits luck and God, which are kind of the same thing, as a big part of their success. But then why did you not have luck or God on your side? Oh, it's not just, hard luck, poor you. It's because, as it says in the Bible, to he who has nothing, everything shall be taken away. To he who has everything, everything shall be given. If you want to play the game of luck, make your luck actually be better. And how you do that is doing the right things, like investing in yourself, committing to going to the next level, letting go of your old fears and identities and lies and rationalizing and excuses, being around other people that are all on the same wavelength as you. These are how you make luck be on your side. So Jacob goes on and he keeps saying, I've been on a tax offer during one of the highest tax rates of our country and still haven't made 100K. If Josh was on this offer, I shit you not, he'd make $1 million a month within 60 days. Jacob says, please don't fuck up the money and let your rationalizations and old mind viruses steal your potential future from you. I've seen too many skilled people let that happen to them. Very important there. What he means by please don't fuck up the money is he's saying, if you join a mastermind like our mastermind, you have to put in the work so that $3,000 a month to you becomes no fucking money. Do you think Jacob even notices the $3,000 go out of his bank account now? No, because he's making $50,000. $3,000 a month investment is not the problem. The problem is you're too broke. So you have to look at it as what's the problem and what's the symptom of the problem. So if you're looking at the investment to join this mastermind, you need to look at it and think, I find this a hard thing to swallow because I'm so broke, and therefore that's exactly why I need to do it so that I can get to a place like Jacob where $3,000 is no fucking money. If you don't act like someone who would have a lot more money and therefore $3,000 a month is no fucking money, you'll never become that person. You have to actually start acting as that person today so that you can actually change your reality. All right, let's finish this up. All this to say, the events are the catalysts. You will learn a lot from the Zoom calls, the recorded rants, seeing others post, but there's something about being in person that has an energy transference that will get you to the next level. So what he's saying is, you come into this mastermind so that you get all of the foundational things you need, the internal mastery training, the scriptless selling training, the community, access to the mentorships, but that final piece that unlocks everything, as I said to you before, is when you meet someone in person, there is stuff that is transferred that can't be transferred on a Zoom call. So the first thing you have to do is get into the mastermind, get around the other unicorns, and build up all the things you need to build up so you get access to the in-person events. This is the final piece, the final catalyst. Before all of that, you have to go through internal mastery training. You have to go through scriptless selling training. You have to ask a mentor questions that are going to help guide you to implement those things. And the biggest thing above everything is being around people that are pushing to go to the next level. The final thing Jacob says is the universe put all of these things in my path and conspired to have me succeed. It feels like it was meant to be. And that is because inside the mastermind, we teach you to install omnipotent beliefs, beliefs that actually serve you rather than sabotage you. So all of that, I'll quickly scroll through all the comments here. Dan, holy fuck, this is literally one of the best hero's journey narratives I've seen so far. I'm brand new and even more excited to attend the next live event after reading this. All of these members commenting, supporting, incredible. This is what you'll be a part of if you decide today to get on the inside so that you can earn $50,000 a month in commissions as a high-ticket closer or more. You know how Jacob did it. You know what it takes. You know the qualities now of a closer making $50,000 a month. But remember, having all of this knowledge in your head isn't going to do anything. You now need to act on this knowledge. You now need to take the same steps that Jacob took to actually be able to turn this information into money in your bank account. If that is something that you are ready to do, I've shown you crystal clear Jacob's complete transformation over 12 months. 14 months it took him to go from $0, first ever day in high ticket sales, to earning now $55,000 to $60,000 a month. That is an insane transformation. And you saw it wasn't sunshine and rainbows. It wasn't easy. It was all a series of making hard decisions and making those decisions now. So if you're ready to make that decision, that commitment, that action, so that you can earn this type of money in high ticket sales, you know exactly what you need to do. The link to join is below this video. Click the link, join, and I'll see you on the inside.